Today's top 10 mysteries is to show you the strange things and facts about the way of life in this Mongolian country. There are many friends who say that Mongolia belongs to China. No, it is an independent country. The north of this country borders Russia. The other three sides are surrounded by China. At the same time, it is also a lucrative bait that China has long wanted to keep for itself, but has not succeeded. In Mongolia, are only humans riding horses on the steppe? Or is it true that people never bathe or wash clothes? Being given smelly clothes is also an honor, and whether there are any different and strange customs here. And why is Mongolia the coldest capital in the world? All the answers will be found in the video, 7 Strange Things in Mongolia. Not bathing and washing, being given smelly clothes is also an honor. There is a fact that few people know is that in the 13th century, during the time of Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire, people rarely bathed because of the notion that if they used water to bathe, they would touch the dragon vein and be punished by the gods. So bathing was a difficult thing. River bathing is also prohibited. Therefore, everyone has a very bad smell. In addition, the Mongol warriors did not change their clothes, only occasionally took them off and shook them vigorously so that the lice and bedbugs fell down, and then put them back on immediately. Of course, don't wash it either. Wear it until the clothes are torn or can't keep their original shape. But for them, the person who has a strong body odor brings more luck. If Genghis Khan gave someone old, torn clothes and his terrible smell, that person would feel very honored. Because being given things by a king is already an honor, and being given personal items with a characteristic smell is nothing like this. However, at present the practice of not bathing is only applied in a few places in Mongolia. It sounds a little smelly, but it's still not as good as the Himba tribe in Namibia, where women leave their breasts bare, never bathing, or the Iranian old man, who is known as the dirtiest in the world because he's not washed for 67 years and only eats rancid food. His oath not to take a bath was so steadfast that he rushed out of his car when local villagers tried to take him to the river to wash. Instead, he just fire-bathed by walking around fire to help kill all the germs and bacteria in his body. Next, let's explore the strange customs of the Mongols that make everyone who witnesses them confused. Strange customs in Mongolia. The custom that causes confusion is White New Year. The traditional Mongolian New Year, also known as the Tsagaan Sa New Year, but it is very strange. In the first days of the New Year, they often wear white clothes or give each other white objects, while other countries prefer red. This comes from the concept that white is a symbol of purity, bringing luck. The second is the very sophisticated drinking etiquette. It's not that saying you don't drink doesn't respect me. The people here will kneel when they drink. Men will kneel on 2 knees, bow their heads low, and respectfully put their hands forward. Unmarried daughters also perform the same ceremony. Particularly, women who have bid only need to kneel on 1 knee and raise their right hand to invite wine. The newlyweds got married while glasses of wine also had to bonus singing. And the wine they drink the most is horse milk wine, a famous Mongolian specialty. It tastes like regular wine, but adds the characteristic smell of horses. To the locals, you're considered rude if you refuse to drink horse milk wine while in their homes. Next is drinking tea on New Year's Eve. The host poured out the first cup of tea, took it to the front yard, and scattered it in all 4 directions. The second cup of tea is for the head of the family. The cups then invite the rest of the members. After that, they used horse milk to wash the dishes instead of plain water like us. Finally, there is the festival on the frozen lake. Mongolians once a year travel to the border region with Russia. where Kufskul Lake is the deepest lake at a depth of 267 meter, containing almost 70% of Mongolia's fresh water. In the cold below, 40 degrees Celsius, the lake surface freezes for at least 6 months of the year, when people gather to have fun and celebrate because they have passed the austere winter, preparing for bright days. Games such as ice skating, tug of war, archery, horseback riding, ice sculpture photography, and the shaman ritual with fire will take place for 2 days throughout the festival. The coldest capital in the world, on 99% uninhabited land. If you ask which country has the lowest population density in the world, you can boldly answer Mongolia. With an area of more than 1.58 million kilometers, equivalent to countries in Western and Central Europe combined, but the population is only about 3.4 million people, which means that 1 square kilometer is inhabited by only 2 people. Therefore, 99% of the land area here is uninhabited. This means that the probability of encountering other people is very low, so even if it stinks a little, it will be difficult for others to smell it. In addition, because the majority of Mongolians have a semi-nomadic lifestyle, the correspondence system is also different. A postman usually has to travel 40 kilometers between the next 2 stations, traveling 200 kilometers a day. And there can be up to 1,400 such stations in the whole area, with more than 50,000 horses used for transit. If you don't know what nomadism is, I would like to answer that nomadic as farming is not fixed, often bringing cattle to a place with suitable conditions. After a while they go again. Here, the number of horses is 13 times larger, and the number of sheep is 35 times larger than the number of people. The people also know how to shoot archers and control eagles. Children from 14 to 15 years old have been taught that skill. Riding horses is tiring, and it also has to endure temperatures as low as 58 degrees Celsius. So this place is known as the coldest place, not counting the North and South Poles. Here you can see a circular mobile house, which can accommodate 5 people. Inside there is a fire stove placed in the center to warm up. There is no heater at all. On the prairie, you can't find a brick house because they choose to assemble a quick and neat accommodation in an hour, so that it is easy to move, according to the feeding needs of the cattle. Even the coldest capital in the world is Ulaanbaatar, in Mongolia, when winters can be as cold as 40 degrees Celsius. There is no longer a scene of horseback riding on the plateau, cattle grazing in the fields, but a very modern city, skyscrapers and busy traffic. This vast city has a population of 1.3 million people, which is almost half of the total population of the country. It is a nightlife place with more than 300 bars operating. If you ask where it is allowed for women to have multiple sexual partners at the same time, as long as with all her heart, it is the next place. Women have multiple sexual partners at the same time. It is okay to love many men at once, as long as you love them wholeheartedly. That's what happens in a traditional matriarchal village belonging to the Mongolian Wujiao community in the Muli Autonomous County of Tibet. For about 2,000 years, the Mosuo people followed a matriarchal lifestyle. This means that the property is passed down to women and children according to their mother's surname. The most stirring of public opinion is the custom of walking marriage, meeting at night and freely having many sexual partners. If the woman turns on the green light, the boy will visit and sleep at the girl's house and return to his family in the morning. It seems that it is also because of the lack of people that the nomadic people here have a tradition that women who can give birth to children is precious, and it doesn't matter whose child it is. When there are distinguished guests, male guests, if they are elderly, the landlord will invite a sheep's head, and if they are young and middle-aged, the landlord will ask his daughter to warm up for the whole night. Mosuo's divorced people are also not discriminated against at all. Legend of the land of Tai Luang Women's Country is also famous because the coming-of-age ceremony is held when the children reach the age of 13. Accordingly, after the daughter is given a dress and the son is given pants, he can sleep in a private room called the flower room and invite his partner to participate in the walking marriage. The person who has everything, the person who has nothing, is the fate of women in the next situation. The more beautiful and talented a woman is, the harder it is to get married.
What the hell?
Still a love story. The more beautiful a Mongolian girl is, the harder it is to get married. In the past, men in this country only chose healthy women to do housework, to stay healthy, not choosing thin and weak women. So those who are both beautiful and thin are often alone. Nowadays, the difficulties are doubled when women are both beautiful and educated, but still unmarried, as usual. This comes from the fact that Mongolian families choose to invest in their daughters' education because they think that raising livestock is for men, so sons are allowed to keep the house and work. This creates reverse gender inequality. Women are less likely to be unemployed, and their life expectancy is also about 10 years higher. Women face two big pressures at the same time: having a career and getting married before the age of 29. Obviously, these two things cannot appear at the same time, because career girls will be very picky and rarely get in. Don't say 29 years old, you can't get married although you are 39. You can go to any pub or club here and you will see men dancing on the floor for women to see. This leads to Mongolian. Women look down on men because men are inferior to them. Mongolian men are afraid of women because they are too nice and think that they only want to marry rich men. Just like that, the two have passed each other's lives. Rensenkorlu Bud, born in Mongolia, owns 1.34 form to long legs. With a height of 2.05 meters, it's harder to find a husband. Present at the ceremony was the female model Elena Igorova, who was crowned Miss Grand Mongolia 2022. All of them have long legs and knowledge superior to men. Sitting on a treasury of trillions of resources, but still hungry, is why. Let's answer in item 6. The geographical curse. Sitting on the golden resource repository, but still hungry. The Mongols have historically lived on a huge storehouse of coal, copper, and gold. These precious resources are changing the fate and image of the country, which is almost nothing. But there is a sad reality. Between the ruined buildings and the brand new buildings, Mongolians are fiercely debating whether the newly found wealth will bring cars and branded goods to the rich, or just make many people fall under the bridge during the cold winter. It is true that the standard of living of people in this country is quite different. Up to 36% of people live below the poverty line. Poor people earn only about $2 a day. Meanwhile, there are super-rich giants with luxurious and fully equipped lives. After work, the rich will look for bars, dance floors, and nightclubs. They became wealthy by opening gold mines, selling minerals and some rare licenses, and buying securities. It is also because the development speed of the mining industry has attracted thousands of farmers from the steppes fleeing the cold winter in the countryside. They come and live on the outskirts of the city in crowded slums. The unemployment rate is increasing, electricity and water are scarce, and many people have to accept spending the night under bridges and sewers. A garbage-free paradise. In the 21st century, it is difficult to find a place without the appearance of garbage, yet many people have stepped into a paradise where they find no garbage. The Mongolian steppe. You will see vast green carpets, one after another, endless like a giant carpet. People roaming on horseback to live like nomads. Mongolians have a very high sense of environmental protection. they never litter the environment. After each relocation, the garbage is collected and brought back to the city, moving to the right collection point. This habit is gradually learned by tourists. Apparently, no one can afford to let the steppe be distracted by garbage. The water of Lake Kerbigal is so clean that people can drink it directly without treatment. The food here is also absolutely clean. New Zealand, which is known for its 100% pure slogan, also does not compare to Mongolia because they haven't intensive livestock, industrial feed, and agrochemicals. Mongolian yak beef costs only about $3 kilgis. Butter made from fragrant yak cow's milk, less fat like condensed butter. There are also not many evils of a densely populated country, such as robbery, fraud, kidnapping, terrorism, slashing, and pollution. It is important that anyone who needs to exercise to lose weight should go to Mongolia, because on average you may have to walk 10 kilometers a day to get to the destination you want to go. That's not counting people who bring cars and motorcycles. The visit to Mongolia concluded today's video content. There are countless other discovery videos in the Top 10 Mysteries channel waiting for you to watch. If you like videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive the latest notifications. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.
With